Hey there guys, Apple just concluded its annual developer conference dubbed WWDC yesterday, and in this video I will share my thoughts on the event. Let's start with the new tvOS. It receives supports for new TV-based services that Apple announced in March, but the update also brings a redesigned homepage that shows previews of TV shows and movies similar to what you might find on the Fire TV and Twitch. The new tvOS offers multi-user support as well to show personalized recommendations on shows and music based on the content you consume. The music playback UI now shows live lyrics that follow along the song, just like on iOS 13. Ahead of Apple's Arcade's release, Apple also announced that the Apple TV will support more third-party game accessories like the Xbox One S and PS4 DualShock controllers. Next up, we have the watchOS. The new watchOS 6 update will bring its own dedicated app store that you can search through via Siri, Scribble, and voice dictation. A few new Apple-specific apps are coming to the device, including a calculator app that can quickly calculate a trip and split bills with friends, and a voice memo app for recordings on the fly. There are new health and fitness updates as well, such as long-term activity trends of how your fitness levels have changed over the past months and year. There's a new complication for noise levels to indicate the decibels of the room and give you a warning if you're spending extended time in a room that could damage your hearing. That feature will also be made available on the Health app. Apple is also adding menstrual cycle tracking to the watch for female health to get alerts on upcoming periods and when their fertile windows are. Moving on to the much awaited one. Dark mode for iOS is official. It was so welcome that there was an audible sequel in the audience. A lot of apps are getting small updates. There's now also swipeable texting in messages and suggested contacts for when you share things with those you message more frequently. The music app also brings a lyric mode that shows the words live alongside the song. Memoji are getting more personalization tools like new makeup options, hairstyles, and accessories. Reminders is getting a large refresh. For example, if you tag someone in a reminder, you'll also get that reminder the next time you message that contact when it's time to chat about whatever you had noted before. Maps is also getting a much bigger update that offers more detailed map and a shortcut on the launch page that shows your favorite spots and collections of places saved. When you tap on a place, you'll get a street view photo up top that you can tap to enlarge and look around in 360-degree view, or tap again to travel down the road seamlessly. There's also a mode for sending your estimated time of arrival to friends whenever you're commuting. The Photos app now has a photo sorting mode that divides your pictures into days, months, and years so you can more easily browse your images sorted by timeline. Each section is separated by a highlight reel or top photos or videos. Developers can access a beta for iOS 13 today and the public can try it in July. The final consumer version will arrive for everyone in the fall. Next, we move on to the much asked one. Apple now organizes the iPad as its own platform by spinning off iOS into its own iPad specific system. App switching or slide over mode can be accessed by just dragging up and to the side or easily split screen by dragging apps side by side. You can split screen using the same app, such as viewing two notes at the same time or two emails at once to reference each other. File view also looks a bit more like it does on macOS, with ways to browse through column view and share folders on iCloud. iPads will also now support USB thumb drives or camera imports from USB cables directly between the two devices. There are some new text editing gestures too, such as a 3-finger pinch or 3-finger swipe left and right to undo and redo. Next, we have the new macOS as usual. Say goodbye to iTunes. In the new version of macOS called Catalina, Apple will break up the app into 3 separate apps for music, for podcast, and for TV. The Mac also supports the iPad as a second display, offering a workaround for those who wanted the touchscreen on their MacBooks. Apple calls this feature as Sidecar. Both iOS and macOS will soon offer voice control that lets you control everything from opening apps and adjusting the volume to other actions like editing text just by your voice. Voice dictations are processed locally on the device without sending any voice information to the cloud. On the apps front, a new Find My app will now let you search for a device even when it's online by using Bluetooth beacon that bounces off other Apple devices near the misplaced device. Screen time is also making its way to the Mac as well as to enforce more limitations across devices. Lastly, Apple announced Project Catalyst, a framework that lets developers port iPad apps to the Mac directly. Developers can access Catalyst today and just check off Mac in Xcode to simply extend support over to the desktop OS. Next up, we have the big one coming at last. WWDC is not always a hardware event, but that doesn't mean devices haven't been announced here before. Today, Apple unveiled the new Mac Pro. Inside, the Mac Pro supports Intel Xeon processor up to 28 cores and up to 1.5 terabytes of memory. There are 6 slots for memory expansion and 8 PCI slots, 3 Thunderbolt ports, 2 USB-C and 2 USB-A ports. There's a lot going on in the graphics department as well. The included module supports AMD Radeon Pro 580X or the Radeon Pro Vega 2 and can be configured to add up 2 Vegas. A new processing card called the Afterburner supports up to 3 streams of 8K or 12 streams of 4K. To top of the customization, you can even add wheels to the Mac Pro shelf for added portability. The new monitor is a 32-inch LCD screen with a Retina 6K display and a 1,000,000:1 contrast ratio. Apple calls this display Extreme Dynamic Range or XDR. As you can all imagine, all this power won't come cheap. The Mac Pro starts with an 8-core Intel Xeon, 32 GB of memory, and 512 GB SSD for $5,999 while the Pro Display XDR is priced at $4,999. The stand is sold separately for another $1,000. Concluding the video, guys, I would like to say that I personally enjoyed the software launches today. Not that the hardware launches didn't impress me, it's just that the hardware that Apple launched today is strictly not for everyone. As they mentioned 1,000 times in this stage, it is strictly for pros. An average customer is not going to spend $1,000 for just a stand named Pro Stand. The software, on the other hand, is almost for everyone with an Apple product, and privacy was the key aspect of the event as Apple has shown the world that their products and softwares are the most secure in the planet. So, those were my thoughts about the event, guys, but that's me. What did you like the most of the lot and what you did not? Leave a comment in the video and meet you guys in my next one. Peace.